fiction of Harlan Ellison in a book called Mind Fields, a very lovely book available in both soft and hardcover editions. Mr. Ellison, it's always a pleasure.
Mr. Snyder, I am quietly humble and proud to be here.
Oh, stop.
Well, God, you were coming, I mean, all of that we can learn from this. I mean, my God. I mean, like, you know, I've been to Italy. I eat penne, but, I mean... But
well, didn't you like it there? I mean...
I loved it. I thought Italy was wonderful,
yeah.
As opposed to France.
Which, true.
Which, when I came back, I said we should nuke them till they glow. No, the Italians are very nice.
They are. They're nice people. And the thing that amazed me was that they all spoke Italian and that all the signs on the road were in Italian.
It amazed you that Italians spoke Italian?
Well, I mean, if you come to America, not everybody speaks English.
Well, that's true. That's true. But we are a melting pot here.
Yes, I understand that, but we could learn from some countries in Europe. Anyway, the project Minefields, how did you and Mr. Yerka get together? Your prose, his art.
Well, what happened was, I had done an introduction for a book of H.R. Giger's art. H.R. Giger, the man who designed the Alien.
Oh, surely.
And the publisher is a man named Jim Cowan, and his company is called Morpheus International. And he publishes coffee table books of fantastic artists, surrealists, so on. And he had done one of my books, and he'd done very well with it. So he called me one day and he said, look, he said, I was at an art exhibition, or maybe it was the art show here in town, and he said, I saw this fabulous Polish painter, and I'm going to do a book of his stuff, and I'd like you to write the introduction. I said, oh, God, Jim, please, I've done enough introductions.
Right, and by the way, are you an art aficionado? Are you a fan of it?
Yes.
Okay, so
yeah,
it would be in keeping with your own love to do this kind of an introduction.
Well, I've done a lot of introductions for different art books and comics, and I very much like the visual, because I'm frustrated because I cannot draw at all. Right. And he said, I really want you to do this. And I said, please, I've done enough introduction. You know, running water, introduced by Ellison. Here's a roll of toilet paper, introduction by Ellison. Enough already. We've had this. So he said, well, at least look at this guy's stuff. And I said, all right. So he came over with a folio of Jacek's art. And I looked, and the first one I saw was this. And my mouth dropped open. I said, this is astonishing stuff. Well, the more he showed me, in about 20 minutes, I said, no, I will not do an introduction. I said, but I will. He wanted to do 30 paintings. I said, I'll write 30 short stories around 30 paintings.
Wow.
And he thought I was kidding, and I said, no, I would do it. Now, originally what I thought I would do was I would write a 4 or 5 line kind of aphorism for each one. Didn't happen that way. When I got to the first story that I did was this one called Twilight in the Cupboard. How do I?
No, I'll hold it up. I got it right here.
Okay. Twilight in the Cupboard. When I got to that, and it shows a cupboard, and it's got all of these things on the top, but there's a little church there, and there's hands coming out of the drawer. And I said, how interesting. So now I start writing the story. Well, the story turns out to be about 2,000 words. Then the problem was I had to explain it. When I explained it, the author's note that I wrote ran 7,000 words.
And you know what we say, if you have to explain them.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I know.
What it was about the Holocaust, and about assimilation, and about the people who always thought they could escape by pretending they weren't Jewish, and how they wind up living, all of the souls of the dead Jews are living in this cupboard. And I had to explain all that, and I get into it, and I start talking about skinheads, and what pustulant rodents they are, and how, you know, and I go on and on and on, and it's this long thing, so I figured, okay, now I can't do 3 or 4 lines for the other stories, because it'll all be unbalanced. So each story winds up being longer than the others, and I wind up doing this very long book, and I did 33 stories around 34 paintings. And I would, if you would show the silence, which is on page 40.
I will indeed.
It's very short, and I'll read it to them so they can see the kind of thing that I did. And it holds, in fact, with your religious tone of the evening.
Now, wait a second. Let me just get, why don't, oh, there the page numbers.
Down on the bottom, page 40.
I know.
Please turn in your... Oh.
Okay, the silence, be this one right here on the left-hand side.
Now if the camera comes in on that one.
There it is.
Okay, you got a good shot of that?
As good as we're going to get.
Okay. This is the cathedral in which your cowardice has been enshrined. The silence at the pulpit is the silence we heard when you did not answer cries for help. In the eaves of this holy place are the festooned remnants of the friends you did not come to assist. In the darkened rooms up rotting staircases are the tattered faces of lovers you betrayed. Here your mother, there your father, both gone now and neither with any degree of calm or joy. Here is the sanctuary of your lost chances. There is no pastor, no choir, no stewards, no supplicants. It is a congregation of one. You will worship here all the remaining days of your life, and at night, your spirit will kneel on broken glass in the pews.
Now, that's heavy, kid. You know that. And I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But why did you choose to see the silence in this church in negative rather than positive terms?
I have no idea. Some of these stories are very positive.
I know they are.
And very happy. Others, there is a quality about these. For instance, it's a ruined roof. The roof is ruined.
Right.
There is hay coming out of one of the apertures.
The church is in a state of dishabille, without question. But I'm just curious because you could have just as easily said something positive about the people who did not turn their backs on their friends and their mothers.
Well, I have in other stories. In this one, I chose to talk about people who are not responsible, people who don't, who are cowards because they prefer to say it's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather look elsewhere. I'd rather do something else. And the casual betrayals of someone at work who needs you to come forward and say, she didn't do it. It was this other guy.
Right.
And they don't, because you don't want to put your own ass on the line. So that was, I have no idea why it was each of these stories turned out the way they did.
You know, I was curious. You know how when you read an article about that somebody has written about another person and how sometimes they just nail them, and sometimes a writer won't quite get it. Like the piece you just read, The Silence, you nailed it. You know what I'm saying? In those 8 lines, you nailed something very important in terms of responsibility and awareness. Are you conscious of that ability, or does that just come out of your typewriter or your pen?
It's long and hard learned.
Yeah.
I did a lot of newspaper work. I've done a lot of nonfiction.
I know you have.
And I think I learned it from Steve McQueen. Of all people, I learned it from Steve McQueen. I did an interview with Steve. We became friends.
Let me have you hold it, kid. I got a commercial waiting. We'll continue with Harlan Ellison, who is, what can we say, co-author?
I guess.
Co-star of Minefields, The Art of Jacek Jurka, and The Fiction of Harlan Ellison. Back with more and your phone calls